bribes of Betsy Stafford Popkes. Now she's bribing people off. She bribes Steve Popkes off. Oh, I'll take care of you. I'll handle all the expenses. We'll pretend that you're the bread earner. But I'll pay for everything. You just do whatever I say. I'm the man now. I guess you're the wimp girl. And we don't have any kids. We're on birth control. We pretend we're Catholic. We pretend everything is okay. We cover everything up. And then we'll just get rich and famous. You can go play in your bars everywhere. I'll just follow you and pretend. And then we'll have a nice house and we'll decorate it. We'll plant roses outside and we'll just smooth everything over. We'll make it look good. And we'll bribe people who don't want to be with us. We'll convert Carrie. We'll smash her down till she loses her virginity and then she'll become a robot. And that's what they did. They kept shuffling her around from man to man. They were really interested in her dating. And you've got to wonder, why do you even care? She is a 16-year-old girl. She should not be dating. She should be looking and praying at church. She should be going to the Blessed Sacrament. What are you doing with your own daughter? And Steve Popkes was more than willing to corrupt Carrie and be right on board, as his own children were already corrupted. Matt became an alcoholic, so did Michael. She says that John's abusive, but the minute Michael started flunking out of school, having panic attacks, and being an alcoholic, she couldn't get him out of the house fast enough to John. Now, you've got to wonder, okay, he's an abuser at one minute, and now he's a dad at the other. What is she really about here? And it's number one, she's about satisfying herself sexually because the sex with John wasn't satisfying to her, so now she's got Steve. And she won't tell you that because the 1960s generation, they cover that up and they don't want to tell you that it's all about sexual pleasure. But it is. And the eating extensively, all these foods, fancy foods, the vacation, she's gone to, I think, the French Riviera or whatever she's gone to so many times. With neglecting her own kids. And I brought that up saying, you're going on all these vacations and you're neglecting your motherhood. No, I'm not. That's the response you'll get. Oh, no, I'm not. And she thinks her kids will just fall for her tricks because she's the mom and you have to obey her because it's the fourth commandment. Well, you don't have to obey someone who's wicked, and you do not have to obey someone who's breaking the law left and right. And the law is to love God with the whole heart, mind, body, and soul, and then your neighbor as yourself. And to love your neighbor is to correct them when they're falling away from the faith. If you don't correct them, you're just as guilty of partnering with their crime by your silence. And that's what the priests are doing. They're being silent by sins of omission. They're seeing that she's little kooks, and they're thinking, okay, well, maybe Anna's right, and I need to kind of step back, but I don't want to get sued. I don't want to lose my friends in the hierarchy. I'll just pray and God will just correct it because I'm a priest. There you go. That does not work because priests are required in their ordination vows to succor the poor and the needy, and they are required to do action of the corporal and spiritual works of mercy, correcting the faithful, calling them out, just like St. Anthony. We don't just sit here blind and dumb. We're given ears and eyes. That's why in the scripture it says those who have eyes and ears hear. If God wanted us to sit around and do nothing and just say Hail Marys all day, he would have articulated that example in the scripture. Now, God certainly loves prayer very much, but our God is a God of action. Jesus spent many years traveling all over, converting and healing people to show us an example of piety. And also the apostles, they did not just huddle around in a closet in the dark, saying rosaries, saying, well, everybody will convert now and I did my job. They were on the battlefield. And we have to, as Catholics, get on the battlefield and get up and fight. And our fight is a spiritual battle, yes. It involves mostly trust in God, in his justice and his timing. But it also involves doing the work. God created us to work. He did not create us to sit around and be idle like these bad priests who show up, want to get famous, read a scripture passage, and just like Pontius Pilate, smooth everything over and say, well, we're all one, just like the Novas, just like the Jews, the New Age Jews, Kabbalah Jews, fake Jews, I call them, because you never really know if they are Jews. They have to have a blood test to make sure they're in the race. A lot of them aren't. They are just told they are by their parents because they benefit financially from saying that they are, because the Jews really are running, at least in the devil sphere, the world. They own the banking system. They've taken control over the church. They own the media, the newspapers, and Hollywood. And so this false sense of power they have, that they think they can lord over people, it is a very short span of time that this will happen, about 3.5 years before God intervenes. So they're really going down the wrong path. That's why I exhort so much for Laurel Heifetz to convert. The reason she doesn't want to convert is pride, number one. Popularity, she doesn't want to lose status, be made fun of by other Jews. But the way I see it, okay, you were already made fun of by your mother, and you survived that, so why don't you just survive this and go to heaven? Just convert. Just do it. What's the problem? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain by this conversion. And it'll confound people like Betsy Stafford Popkes, who will say, well, what's going on with this? And that's just how it would have to be. And it's just too bad for everyone else. If you want to go to heaven, the path is very narrow and covered with thorns, but there is a beautiful rose at the end.